So am I right in thinking you're here because you want to start investing in property? Maybe you want to get back some of your own time, but the issue is you work 9 till 5, 9 till 6, you work longer hours, maybe even unsociable hours. To be honest, I'm having the same issues and it is making it difficult. It's part of the reason why I haven't posted a video in a while.
I am just so busy, I don't have any time to organize my own life.
And it is something that a lot of people who are property investors or want to get into property investing are likely to face, the reality that they've got a full-time job to balance alongside it. In this video, I'm going to share some of the problems that I've faced, how I try to cope, maybe you're the same in terms of what you're facing at the minute, and hopefully you can take some tips away to unlock more time, obviously achieve those goals of wealth and just get started on your journey to achieve those dreams and goals that you currently have. So what's my problem? A little bit about me. I work Monday to Friday, 9 till 6. After I finish work, I feel exhausted, just like I'm sure a lot of you do too. I want to spend time with my partner, my family, our little dog, and there'll be a lot of other things that come into it as well. So whether that's going to the gym for some of you, whether that's watching, playing football, you'll all have your own activities, some that are weird, some that are wonderful. Add to that my rental property in Liverpool, which don't get me wrong, it's managed, so it doesn't take away heaps amount of time, but it does take away some time. And then recording and editing these videos, which does take away quite a considerable amount of time. And that is a part of the reason why it has been a while since I posted. So what I'd be doing is I'd be looking through Rightmove, looking through Zoopla, finding the properties that match what I'm looking for, doing the analysis on it, just making sure that the numbers actually make sense, keeping note, keeping track of them. And then when I go to call the estate agents, they're already sold, or there's an issue with viewing the property, or simply I can't view it when I'm actually available to pop up there. Liverpool, from where I am, is also about 3 hours away. Now, I know that's my choice. I can invest more locally, but the main thing for me is the house prices are so much cheaper up in Liverpool. I feel like it's a better use of my money rather than in my local area, which is a lot closer, but it means I'm tying up a lot more of my capital that I'd want to invest. For the same price in Liverpool, I could potentially get 2 rental properties with two houses that are appreciating in value with 2 rental incomes for the same price as I can 1 local to me, 1 that's appreciating and 1 rental income. So it just makes more sense logistically, but it does make it tough. What I'll also want to do is book in 3 to 4 viewings at least, rather than 1 or 2, because likelihood is if I go for a couple, by the time I get there, one of them's going to be sold, or there's going to be a hole in the floor that I didn't know about. Another one, there might be something that I didn't even consider, didn't even dream of, because inherently people are weird. We see all these different Rightmove, Zoopla properties that are advertised, and just some of the things that people have done to these houses is absolutely mental. Let me share with you some ways to organise your time, organise your mindset. Now, I know I'm nowhere near this level, but something that's always resonated with me is to be a part of the 1%, you can't behave and act like the other 99% do. As an example, it's about trying new things, taking on risks, and when things kick you down, it's about getting up and trying again. Taking Elon Musk as an example, for his first company, he was sleeping out of his office, he was showering at a local community centre. Jeff Bezos, who started Amazon, he was working out of a garage, borrowing money from family friends. Going a little bit of an older reference, Thomas Edison, who invented the light bulb, he tried thousands of ways that didn't work, but he never saw it as thousands of times he's failed. He saw it as 1,000 ways that didn't work, and he's that little bit closer to the actual solution. It's all about how you adapt your mindset. But this is when sacrifices sometimes have to be made. So it's about knowing and identifying your priorities and what you do see as important in your life. You're looking at things right now and thinking, I don't have time to fit that in. But that's because you're trying to fit it in alongside what you're currently doing. You need to think about what are your priorities, whether you're spending time down at the pub, that's time you could be doing what you want to be doing. Whether that's watching football, playing football, right down to if you sit down, start scrolling through YouTube, start scrolling through TikTok, Facebook, whatever you might do for 2 minutes, and then you suddenly look at the time and 45 minutes have gone by. We've all done it. Again, it's about identifying those priorities and leaning towards obviously the stuff that is more important to you. And it's absolutely fine if it is a matter of you'd prefer to go down the pub and you'd rather not do things, then you know where your priorities lie. Just to hopefully demonstrate my point, if you spend, let's say, 56 hours a week sleeping, an hour and a half a day eating, an hour and a half a day commuting, 8 hours a day working, and then each week you spend about 5 hours on chores, 5 hours on exercise, 5 hours on hygiene. So all of those combined is 129 hours. Take that away from your week of 168 hours. So in theory, you should have time to get everything done. That leaves you a 39 remaining sort of hours of the week. What is that going towards? Don't get me wrong, you could say, oh, it's unrealistic using those kinds of time frames, but even if you added 10 hours across all of those areas, you've still got another 29 hours each week that are unaccounted for. Another thing to consider is to break it down and write it down. So by that, I mean, naturally buying a property, especially if you've never done it before, is a big and daunting task. So what you want to do is you want to break it down into smaller, more manageable tasks, such as what investment strategy do you want to use, what kind of price, what kind of deposit you're going to potentially look to buy at, what investment area are you going to look at. But by breaking them down into small manageable tasks, you're much more likely to complete them rather than just writing on your to-do list, my aim is to buy a property. By writing it down, there have been studies that have proven as well, you're much more likely to achieve these things by writing it down. Not to mention the satisfaction of writing something on your to-do list and crossing it off. There's nothing quite like that satisfaction. Another thing you'll find is work expands given the time available for its completion. So this is referred to as Parkinson's law. So as an example, if you get in from work at 6, 7 o'clock and you give yourself till 11, 12 o'clock before bed to find 5 or 6 properties that you want to view, you'll find that even if that task may not necessarily take that long, it will take that long because you'll give yourself that time and you'll stretch out that time. What you want to do instead is you want to say give yourself till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock to finish those tasks. Because what you'll find is by having those fake deadlines set, it will motivate and drive you all the more to make a better and more effective use of your time. Researching properties may not be the best example. It's not necessarily something you want to rush through, but you get the general idea. Another thing is leveraging technology to your benefit. So Rightmove, Zoopla, they both have tools that you can use where they'll actually send you reports on properties based on your criteria. So if you loaded up the Rightmove homepage or just obviously went to search their properties like you usually do, all you'd do is you'd enter in your parameters as to, let's say, what you were looking for. Just as a very rough example. And then what you can do is you can basically create an alert. So then what happens there is whenever there are any changes to the properties, any new ones that are listed, obviously you can scroll through the ones that are already listed on there. But then once you've done that, Rightmove will send you any new properties that have been added based on that search criteria. So it makes your searching and looking for a property so much easier, so much more time convenient. Off the back of that, you can also use spreadsheets to calculate your returns on investment, your yields, and all of that will help you in your analysis of different deals, different properties that you find. Rather than having to do things manually, you have a spreadsheet where you can enter this information and it does it for you. Let's say maybe you really don't have any time or anything that I've said through this video has been useless. Maybe if you have a look at booking in 1 hour, 2 hour, power hour slots. So all I mean by that is no distractions. You get in from work, you try to be as productive as possible, you do as much as you can. Maybe even you get into a routine of Monday, you get in, research properties for an hour or two. Wednesday you get in, or during work you call agents, and then Fridays, Saturdays, that's when you do your viewings. For me, I got in yesterday evening with my typical routine and I started looking at this video at about 10, 11 p.m. and I was up till about 2, 3 a.m. I'm pretty sure it does show as well. But if that's not a reason to like and subscribe, I don't know what is. Another thing is break down the time which you don't necessarily see as free time. So by that I mean your commutes to work, whether you go for a walk, run, go to the gym, any time that you consider maybe as dead time, a train journey, you listen to podcasts, you watch videos, you build up your knowledge, you build up your experience. In one of my old jobs, I'd spend the evenings researching properties, I'd get a 1 hour break, and then during that 1 hour break, I'd call letting agents to try and get viewings booked in for the weekend that week. Not to mention, we all get annual leave as well, and if anything, that motivates me further, because the way I see it is I've booked off that annual leave specifically for the reason of property, and if I don't achieve that or achieve what I want to, I see that as a failure on my part. So stop wasting time at the pub, stop wasting time on social media. Actually, like and subscribe to this video first, please. And check out this video on my top 5 screw-ups that I experienced from my first buy-to-let, which could potentially save you thousands. And on a final note, if you do live within an hour of Liverpool, well, safe to say I'm a very jealous man right now. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.